There are 6 syllable types in the English language. When we teach students the syllable types in our language, it helps them be better readers and spellers, especially when it comes to multisyllabic words. In this video, we're going to look closer at R-controlled syllables. R-controlled syllables are sometimes called bossy R, and Dr. Louisa Moats likes to call them vowel R syllables because in the letter sequence, the vowel comes first. And so it's easier for students to recognize the R-controlled if they realize that the vowel comes before the R. R-controlled syllables can be taught using the sign language for the letter R. There are 3 sounds in R-controlled syllables. R, spelled A-R, or spelled O-R, or O-R-E at the end of a word, spelled E-R, I-R, or U-R. Keep in mind that R-controlled syllables are difficult for students to master. They do require continuous practice and review. Often phonics programs cover R-controlled syllables quite quickly, maybe in a matter of a couple of weeks, because there are only 3 sounds to learn. But because the spellings, especially within are so numerous, and these words are found within multisyllabic words, in single words, so it's a very common syllable type, and it's very difficult for students to master. So they will need a lot of practice with these, even outside of the phonics scope and sequence of most programs. Let's look at some example words for R-controlled syllables. R as in car, this is probably the easiest one for students to master, so it's usually introduced first. Then we have or, which can be spelled with an OR as in short, or ORE at the end of a syllable as in the word shore. Then we get to the sound. This is the challenging sound. Notice in all these words, heard, bird, and curd, they all end with the sound, but they're spelled 3 different ways. You can see why our students would be so challenged by the syllable. So this is going to take just a lot of practice. There's not really a rhyme or reason why we use each one of those. It just needs to that students just need to have a lot of exposure, use a lot of dictation, spelling words with ER, practicing those words within dictation within sentences, and then reading them within controlled text. And over time, students will come to know which spelling they need for which word. When we look at multisyllabic words, those R-controlled syllables can be in the second syllable of the word or at the first syllable of the word as in perfect. And if it is in the beginning, students would know that that's where the multisyllabic word is divided, perfect, to help them read it a little bit easier. So that is it for R-controlled syllables. Thank you so much for joining me, and check out my other videos to learn about the other 5 syllable types.